This essential set of skills is about separating actions and movements and having control whilst doing it. So we're doing this table reach exercise, and this is where we're able to position the omeo, work on our spatial relationship, but then reach outside of it and do other things without affecting our core control through the centre, through the body balance, the body control of our omeo. So need to select some sort of surface about table height. Ideally, if there's a bit of a space underneath and nothing you're going to trip over, that is good. But if you've got where there's a complete face down the front, that will also work, like the end of a picnic table or something. And I'll show you when I pop this board out the front what to do in that sort of situation. So right to start with, what we're going to do is just position ourselves at this arm's reach distance from the table, sitting parallel to the table, and have one hand in contact. Don't be all hands free. Have one hand in contact somewhere. Reach out, touch the table, have your hand on there, and maintain a still position. Don't run anywhere. Okay? Then you can have a go at just running forward and running back just a little bit and keeping your hand there. All right, looking for control. Now, don't be disheartened if when you have a go at this it just doesn't work to start with. It's a bit like rubbing your tummy and patting your head, getting a real sense of doing this, of separating these actions and movements. So here we go again. Hand on there, and then the next thing that I want you to do is turn away. And turn away just like quarter of a turn. Keep your hand there and then turn back. Okay? Turn away and turn back. Now what happens with most people to start with is you start turning away and then you just can't get back, and you try and hold on to the table and you end up spinning right away. At that stage, just let go of the table. Be careful of your shoulder. Don't try and hang on, you'll end up hurting yourself. Okay, just let go and come back and reset. Try and keep your body posture upright. Try and keep looking out as you're doing these exercises too. You know you're getting control with these activities when you're doing it with purposeful movement, accurate movement, and you're doing it with control. Okay, so that means when you turn away and stop, you stop exactly on the spot. Take a pause and then come back, as opposed to stopping and getting all wobbly and moving around. Okay, so we've got that little quarter turn sorted. Then extend it a bit further. Okay, so you've got more rotation happening, forward and back. And when you're really comfortable there, then extend it. When you're really comfortable there, extend it into a full 90-degree turn away from the table. Still got control and contact with the table, nice and light. And you're letting the arm sort of wrap around the body as you turn, and then come back. Again, if you turn too far, just let the table go. Okay? As all these exercises, do it left and right. Face both ways and do it both hands. The next thing that I want you to have a go with is to just sit there beside the table and run your hand back and forward on the table without moving at all. Okay, so we're getting the sense of that, right? And then come down one end and then hold your hand still and run along the table and keep the distance the same, and the same backwards. And looking up, using your peripheral vision to register where you are, running forward and back. Okay? And then now, as you run forward, I want you to have a go at turning away and letting your hands still run forward along the end of the table. And then as you turn back, your hand slides back along the table, and you can do this and turn all the way back into the table and face the table. If you've got a board down the front, you're going to have to watch out for your foot plate. You can't go as close. So we're turning away till we've got our back completely to the table, and forward. The next phase of this is to put both hands on the table. Stay stationary, put both hands on the table. I've got my toes in under the table here, so if you've got a board, you're going to have to lean forward a bit. And it's a little bit trickier because you've got to sort of fold in the middle of your body and lean forward without creating any forward drive. Another note of caution, make sure there's nothing that the foot plate can get hooked under the table, like a little kick rail. Because if you hook the foot plate under any kick rail, it'll push you on some forward drive and you've got no braking because the foot plate's being held down. The only way to get out of that situation is to turn and rip the foot plate out from underneath. Okay, so nice posture. We've got this spatial relationship. We're aware of where our knees and our feet are in relation to the table. 2 hands on the table. Now what I want you to do is put one hand on the table and remove one hand. So we hold on to the side without moving the chair. 2 hands on the table, remove one hand on the other side. And just keep alternating this so we're never losing contact with the table. We've always got contact with the table and intermittent contact with the chair here. Okay, and we're really working on keeping this body balance, and we're working on keeping this stationary action, separating these actions from the action of keeping control of your omeo. Then I want you to have a go at leaning on your hands. It's like this tiny itty bitty push-up. Okay, so you're putting a little bit of weight on your hands and trying to keep your omeo stationary. Don't let it run in and out as you're doing this. Absolutely stationary. Okay, and then you can extend that and try that with one hand. All right, just work within the parameters of your own body though. Don't, yeah, I'm a T12 paraplegic, so I'm working within those parameters. And whatever physicality that you've got, work within that. So next thing I'd like you to do is come up to the table, 2 hands, and as we were doing before, as we turn and separate, we can let our hands travel. But this time we're going to swap our hands over as we come down along the table. So we're turning into the table, swapping hands and turning all the way around, and we can get where we're actually facing right away, but we're still holding the table. So we can come around, we're letting our hands move, we're swapping hands and turning completely away. Okay, so coordination, control, and being able to stop, start, stop, steer at all times. Okay, right, now let's pop the front on our table here. Now I'm going to just screw this on so that I don't knock it and it falls and gets trapped in my wheels. Now we've got the solid face on the table. It gives us a different spatial relationship to the table because obviously our foot plate, to keep it out there for me to reach the table, I've got to reach out further. It's changing my body posture and position. I can't, my arms aren't long enough to do that very nice upright control posture. So I have to figure out how to do some of these same exercises with my body a little bit folded. And that can be a really good baseline skill for taking out into environment like on a hill. If you have to do some of this sort of movement on a slope, you may well be a little bit folded in your chair. Okay, so spatial relationship. The next thing, because we've got this face here and nothing we can trip over, let's figure out how comfortably close we can get without getting jammed. Now, if you ever get jammed against a surface, and this happens in places like supermarkets where there's the bumper along the bottom of the fridges, the open fridges for the trolleys, and normally it's rubber. That can get jammed on your wheel and you can get really stuck, and you can't ride through it, and you've got to back out the way you came in. So whenever you go forward, you've got to know that you can come back the same way. So forward and back is always another good thing to practice. Okay, we've got this here. Let's just try leaning on it. Just leaning on it with the arm without having any movement. And then very carefully moving along without changing our spatial relation here, and without getting jammed, and just run forward and back and try and get that sense of having more contact than just the hands, that we've actually got part of the body in contact as well. If at any stage you get jammed, just ride out backwards or turn away and let the chair go and then reset. Okay, so forward and back, same exercise as before, and we can also do those complete turns whilst holding on. And the other interesting thing that this lip is doing is it's just giving me a different attitude to hold my hand. So before I had my hand flat on the table, now I'm sitting my hand up on, or I'm sitting my hand around, and it gives another relationship and another set of control skill that you develop. So there's some essential skills to go and practice with a table or some such surface. And once you get good control of these sorts of actions, then we'll progress and look at how it applies, opening and closing doors, look how it applies out there in the world. And the more you build these skills, the more you can use this wonderful machine out there in the general populace, out there where we're a productive part of society, where this machine just blends and becomes one with us, and we're moving in unison with how society moves. It's a fantastic thing. Okay, all the best. Cheers.